Are you on the Wi-Fi or on the regular?
I think I'm on just the regular. I turned the Wi-Fi off this morning because it was sucking. Hi, boys and girls. We're here with you for Tuesday Night Live with our Keto family, our Facebook subscribers and patrons from Patreon. Wanted to see if you guys had any questions, give you a baby update, and etc.
Awful. This is. I don't know if I like this case or not.
You don't
Still
like it?
having
No,
a love hate.
I don't think.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Do you want a life update?
Hi, Toronto. Yeah, let's do a life
Let's
update.
do a life update. So, first birthing class was yesterday.
Went well. I didn't act out.
Yeah, it went well. We didn't really learn anything we didn't already know, but that's okay. We're mostly just we're required to go, first of all. But then eventually I think they're supposed to teach us like Bradley method tips and tricks that we've already read the book twice, but whatever.
Listen to the book twice.
Yeah. Audible.
Yeah.
I've had about 75 nervous breakdowns in the past 24 hours. So that's been fun.
She is definitely nesting and doing the emotional thing. It's really cute.
It's not cute.
I think it's cute.
Cried over a hamburger today.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
fun.
I mean, you got
I got
gypped.
gypped. I got totally gypped.
Yeah.
But Chick-fil-A made it all better. Not keto Chick-fil-A either. But at that point, I was just like literally crying for like every other hour today.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I just want some Chick-fil-A. So.
My grandfather used to call that tuning up. Did your grandfather call it that? You tuned up?
I was tuned up. I was cranked up.
Yeah.
I was cranked up.
I guess that comes from like tuning up a musical instrument, like
way.
you're doing me or something. Getting tuned up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, how many hours into the salt fast are you?
Let's see, it's 7 o'clock now, so I'm 22 hours into my liquid fast. So, and then I'm doing a no nothing, just water, coffee, tea, all unsweet, all with some salt and some electrolyte drops. And about 2 hours ago, that's when I normally break my fast and eat, is in the late afternoon typically. And I got very antsy. And so I was careful to check myself. If you're fasting with me, put it in the comments so I'll know who else fasting with me. But I got very like restless and antsy. And I'm like, typically I would go eat, right? And I thought, okay, are you hungry? And I was like, no, I have zero physical hunger in my gut. I have no gnawing hunger whatsoever. And so I put a big pinch of salt on my palm and licked it up, and it went away. What's wrong?
I can only see the comments if I do it like this.
Oh, we'll do it like that.
But
then.
that's why. Why?
I don't know. So 22 hours in, I'm going to try to beat my personal record, which is 51 hours. And as long as I feel good and I'm not starving to death, I'm just going to keep going. And so if you're fasting with me, put it in the comments. Nisha is not, because she's making a
Clearly,
human.
obviously, and I would probably just fall off the edge if I was trying to fast right now.
You would do just fine, but there's no point.
I don't think so.
No point in testing it.
Also, still dairy free.
Yeah, still dairy free. No cheese, no whipping cream at all. Before I started the fast, I was still using some butter and some ghee, but I haven't even used that since I've been on the fast. I'm just drip black coffee with salt, black coffee with electrolyte drops, water with those things as well. So doing well so far.
Doing really well.
I went and worked out today, and felt really strong.
Well, you are strong.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to wither and die if you don't eat every 2 hours.
Raise me up.
I'm the wind beneath your booty.
Bump. The wind beneath my bump.
Yes.
What else?
Life updates.
Still moving into the apartment.
Yeah, still moving in slowly. Nisha sent an email to Victor Belt today about setting up some more book signings in Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Northern Alabama
Yeah,
area.
she emailed me back.
Oh, and she said,
Well, it's cookbook season, and a lot of them are booked up with cookbooks, and they don't really do stuff in November. And I said, well, we're looking for September, October.
so
and
November,
any,
right before Christmas.
And any of the local ones, I haven't seen any book signings. But,
I haven't seen any
okay.
book signings, period.
No, I don't know what the freaking problem is there.
Yeah,
I'll just do it myself.
yeah, we'll just set them up
call
ourselves.
them
Okay.
and do it myself.
Yeah, and so I thought it was just Victory Belt, and this is Circle of Trust here. But we talked to another big author the other day, Ryan Holiday. He wrote "The Obstacle Is the Way" and something about stoicism, and I kind of told him how frustrated we were, and he's like, "Dude,
Everybody.
all publishers are like that. None of them want to exert any effort or spend any money on promoting your book. That's even if you were with Doubleday or whoever." He said that's just how
He
they
said
are.
the people who are good at that have their own companies.
Yeah, they
So,
said if they're good marketers, they have a marketing company.
yeah, publicity people have their own publicity firms.
Right,
So
yeah,
the people
so-
that are working at the book
so,
places
yeah.
aren't really that great. So
I may look into. You think we should get an agent?
I don't know.
It just sounds so
I'm
pretentious
so
to even say it.
aggravated at
Yeah.
that email. I was like, I wanted.
So every agent didn't even tell me actually.
Well, because you were in the middle of making a video, and
Mm.
so like by the time it was time I could talk to you, I'd already moved
Yeah.
on to something else to stress out about. So
Yeah, and and he said, well, so Ryan Holiday also said, basically, when you have a lot of followers on social media, the publishing houses want you to use them to promote your book. So basically, I'm supposed to be my own marketing and ad agent, I guess, and I'm supposed to trick you guys into promoting the book,
which you guys have done.
which you've done. I mean, you've done
Anyway.
way more than Victor Belt. There's no doubt about
I
that.
think the only reason
But
we've
I
had any
feel.
success.
You may have noticed I hate saying, "Hey, share the book." I hate doing that. But at the same time, I guess that's what they expect to happen. I don't know.
So I saw a question earlier about fasting and your blood sugar being elevated while you're fasting, and I thought we'd touch on that.
Yeah, we can
real
talk
quick.
about some fasting
and
stuff.
then
Yeah, yeah.
Also, I think he's going to go live over in the fasting group tonight.
I could, yeah.
Well, you're supposed to.
And if you're interested in fasting, obviously you're already in this group and we talk about it a lot, but the Real Salt Fasting, is that what it's called?
Most of you are in there.
Yeah, if you're not in there, jump over and join that group because, I mean, they do a ton of great work over there. There's no fasting Nazis. They're going to help you. And so let's talk about that. So when we were wearing the CGMs, remember that? The 2 times that I noticed, there's one. The 2 times that I noticed that my blood sugar was actually going up to a level where I'm like, that's a little high, was when I was fasting and when I worked out fasting. That's the 2 times. And so if you're new to fasting and you were a diabetic or pre-diabetic and you watch your blood sugar, it might freak you out. But the thing to understand is in a normal human, when they're fasting, they do make more. Their liver breaks down glycogen into glucose, and their liver just makes glucose with gluconeogenesis. That happens. That's normal. And then when you're working out, your red blood cells are having to carry a lot more oxygen. Your heart's beating faster to move that oxygen around, and so your red blood cells have to have more glucose. And so your liver's happy to make more glucose. And that is not a bad blood sugar spike. If you have one that goes up, say you're averaging 80, 85, and then you're fasting and it starts going up in the high 90s, low 100s. So that's normal. That's supposed to happen. But none of us, right, we didn't know about any of this just a few years ago. And so that to us looks like, oh gosh, something's wrong. My blood sugar's going up. Throw that case away.
I know.
don't like
I
it.
know.
No, it's going to do it again. Stand it up right there. The thing
It's
won't
the
let
thing,
you.
yeah.
And so then also when you work out, your blood sugar is going to go up if you're eating a keto or carnivore diet. That's just going to happen. It's perfectly normal. It's not a cause for concern. Now, if it's going up to 180, then you obviously still have some prediabetes or some type 2 diabetes to work on. That doesn't mean you should stop keto or stop fasting. It just means you need to keep working and keep doing what you're doing.
How long is the fast? 72 hours.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to try to go. My record is 51 hours. I'm going to try to at least break that. I'm not even going to say the 72 because I have performance anxiety issues, and then I'll. Toto, really? It's the garbage guy.
Hey, come
He
here.
comes every day. Calm
Come
down.
Well, I don't even know what I was thinking about. What we were talking about? Oh, fasting.
What else? Any other questions you've seen about fasting?
Those are the main ones. Oh, can you have coffee?
Yeah, coffee, unsweetened coffee, unsweetened tea, water, still water, just regular water, and then sparkling water. Those are all fine for this fast. And if you didn't hear about the fast starting last night, you can stop right now. Put down that pork chop right now. Just start your fast. You're done. The instant you stop eating, that's when your fast begins.
Or you can just join the group to watch.
Finish your
and
pork chop.
learn.
It's fine. Go ahead.
You
It's
know.
fine. Then you can start your fast.
Thoughts on Humira? Oh, Humira.
Yeah. So Humira is one of the biologics. It's used for rheumatoid arthritis, for severe eczema or severe psoriasis, and other autoimmune conditions, right? But what most people find when they start eating a real whole food ketogenic diet or carnivore is that their psoriasis, their rheumatoid, their lupus, all that stuff gets so much better that they can wean down and stop the Humira, which is usually very expensive.
And hard on your body.
And it basically beats the shit out of your immune system. That's why all of the Humira commercials say could increase your risk of serious life-threatening infection or cancer, because your immune system is in place to protect you from severe life-threatening infections and cancer. And when you beat the hell out of it, it can't do that.
Humira doesn't actually heal anything.
Right.
It suppresses your immune system, which is
Exactly.
causing all the inflammation. Well, the inflammation from injury.
from your either chronic inflammation from your diet or from
Right.
whatever, it can't do that inflammatory process because the Humira basically cuts its legs out from under it.
That doesn't mean that it hasn't fixed anything.
No. And so if any of you guys are on Humira, go to the pharmacy tomorrow and ask them for the side effect handout. It's about 4 pages long, front and back.
That's awful.
And Humira also has a black box warning. And drug makers don't put black box warnings on there unless the FDA makes them put it on there, right? And a black box warning on any drug basically means this drug could kill you. And it's rare, yes, but it's a very dangerous drug. And so before you even consider taking Humira, you need to be eating hardcore keto, carnivore, and doing some intermittent fasting every day and try to calm your immune system down that way. If that works, hallelujah. If after you've done all that you still have severe RA, severe lupus, severe psoriasis, then use a low dose of Humira. But man, Humira and chronic high-dose daily steroids,
Any of those.
they beat the heck out of your immune system.
For
It's not safe.
methotrexate.
Yeah.
I worked at a arthritis clinic, and that's all the meds that we give there are immunosuppressant. And everybody we had to educate so heavily, especially during flu season and all
Yeah.
that, because they were so high risk for getting sick, and most of those people are not young.
And they have to monitor so many things when you're taking that, because you can literally be in the ICU overnight from an infection. You can have a cancer pop up that would have never come if you hadn't been taking the Humira. And obviously don't stop your medication without talking to your doctor, but yeah, you got to fix that diet. So I'm hoping you're asking for a loved one who's just not on keto yet.
This came from Spencer's. Several people are asking. It's from Spencer's from like
It's Buddha.
3 years ago.
Like I'm sure Buddhists,
It's paraphrased.
they would be so offended by this, but it's so funny I can't help it. Can you see Buddha?
They can't.
See him on there?
They can't.
Okay.
See? Look.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just picked it out this morning. No reason.
Wait, how long have you had that shirt?
I don't know, a year or two. It's just
Did I pick?
it's
Morgan
in rotation.
Berry
I think Morgan Berry
picked
picked
that
this out
out.
for me. She's like, "You need this shirt." I'm like, "Yeah, I do. You're right. I need that." Yeah. Oh, I just posted a video on YouTube about how to catch diabetes 10 years before you're diagnosed with it. You guys have probably know everything in that video, but if you have a loved one, a mom, dad, brother, sister, younger relative who eats crap, but they're still slender. They still haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. This would be one for you to say, hey, this video is 10 minutes long. Please just watch this video and go get these tests done. Because, like, all of us have that slender relative, right, who lives on jelly donuts and coffee with 12 sugars in it. And they're skinny as a rail. So the most common blood test that's going to show that they're starting to develop metabolic syndrome and prediabetes is their triglycerides are going to be super high. Everything else may still be normal, their fasting blood sugar, even their A1C. But the triglycerides being high, that's a red flag. Hey, within the next 10 years, you're going to have diabetes. And you probably know a skinny person with type 2 diabetes. It's absolutely possible, even though that's not the standard picture you see in your mind when you think of someone with type 2 diabetes. But that skinny, they usually smoke, and they can just eat anything, and they're skinny as a rail. Their triglycerides are going to be high, and that's one of the things I talk about in this video. So if you've got a still healthy relative who eats crap, they need to have all 5 of these things checked, because odds are 1 or 2 or 3 of them are already high, and even though they don't have diabetes, they're moving right on down to board the diabetes train if they don't stop it. And this video might wake them up.
You can find this video on YouTube.
On my YouTube channel.
Have you posted it in here?
I think so.
Maybe one of the admins or moderators can post it.
I think I did, but it won't hurt to post it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
this
you
is
can
a...
Go to YouTube and type in Dr. Berry diabetes, and it's the one with today's time.
Well, it's
step
just
on.
the newest one. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't know if
But
it'll
you have
find
a
it yet.
few.
I have
diabetes
several.
videos.
Yeah, I have several.
So.
And I've actually talked about lab tests that can predict, but I'm talking about 10 years down the road. And so for that, if you got a 20-something-year-old kid, right, and they're like, oh, it's stupid, I can eat whatever, they need to have these tests checked, because odds are they already have prediabetes or metabolic syndrome, and they just don't know it because their doctor hasn't checked these tests.
Can you be skinny
Oh,
and
100%.
have all these things?
100%. And that's, like I just said, high triglycerides, fasting triglycerides. That's a huge, like I used to see that early in my medical practice. I would see this young guy, and they're almost always a smoker, but not always. And they would have sky-high triglycerides. And back then I would say, well, they must have some genetic thing. You know, that's weird. Because everything else, their A1C was normal, everything else was normal. But they were just, and so their pancreas is still able to secrete enough insulin to keep their blood sugar normal. But that won't happen forever. That won't continue. So...
It's a good question from Deanna. She says,
Okay.
I've been keto for 20 months and I still can't get belly fat to go away. Could this be an adrenal issue?
Could be thyroid, could be adrenal, could be hormones. Or it could be that your keto still has too many total carbs a day for you.
But for most women, if that's the only area that's left, it's usually what he said,
Yeah,
hormonal
yeah,
or thyroid.
Yeah, yeah. And so take a fresh look at your total carb count for the day. You may need to go carnivore for a few months in order to really slap your metabolism around and wake it up. But definitely go get all your gender hormones checked, your estradiol, your progesterone, and your total testosterone. Get your adrenal glands checked. Get a DHEA-S, stands for sulfate, DHEA sulfate. Get a full thyroid panel that you guys know I've talked about multiple times. But it could be a hormone issue. Well, it definitely is a hormone issue. We just got to figure out which hormone it is. Because it still could be insulin, right? You may still be eating too many carbohydrates a day for you. That's a hormone issue. But it could also be sex hormones, adrenal hormones, or thyroid hormones.
So Jessica just dropped the link
Thank
right
you, Jessica.
here, if you can see it,
Thank you.
to the diabetes video. So
Yeah.
you guys can go check that out afterwards.
But sharing that with somebody who's still young and healthy, you could save their butt from
She
developing
says she has
type 2.
Hashimoto's
Hashimoto's. I know you know how to say
and
that.
menopause.
Oh yeah.
So
You got to get your hormones optimized. Yeah,
you're just in one of those places where like that tummy. What did I used to call it? Thyroid pooch.
Yeah, the thyroid pooch. Yeah. Hypothyroid pooch.
But then you got the minnow pooch on top of the thyroid pooch, so you're just
Yeah.
like at a really
So
annoying
I don't want you to feel like, well, God, I haven't had any success with keto. You have. You've prevented hundreds of things from happening in your body, and you've made hundreds of things better. But just that one thing is being stubborn. You got to think of it like that. There's such a victory that you've done keto for that many months. Keep it up. but you got to go get the other stuff checked as well.
Kathy wants to know, I'm 24 hours into my 72-hour fast. Can I still use toothpaste or antacids?
Make sure the antacid, not like the big Tums that are sweet. You want to get some, so use some baking soda if you need an antacid. Or is there a Rolade that, like the original, that doesn't taste sweet? I don't even know. I haven't taken any in so long.
Well, you could add a little bit of ACV to your water.
Yep. You
Which
could try some ACV.
technically,
Yep.
I guess, would break your fast. But
No, I think it's fine.
You think?
ACV's fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do that.
Because you could do this fast with Ketorade as well.
Ketorade, yeah.
As long as you don't put sweetener in it. But make sure, and so if you're using an adult toothpaste, it shouldn't be sweet enough to really, truly break your fast.
This is a good one. Kimberly says, what are your thoughts on wild yam supplements for menopause symptoms?
So all of the bioidentical hormones, they actually get them from wild yams. But it takes like 32,000 pounds of yams to get a milligram or two of the hormone out of it. So, I mean, you could try that, but
It's not going to hurt anything.
it's not going to hurt. Oh, definitely won't hurt you. Just look at the carb count. Make sure, it's not too carby, but it's not going to hurt you, but it may not help at all.
Baking soda.
Yeah.
That's a good alternative for...
That's what I said.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you say that. I just heard you mumbling. That's all I hear.
Pregnancy brain.
I can't hear you. What's PBC?
PBC in relation to...
Need to know if I should go low fat with PBC or will keto help? What's PBC? Do you know?
PBC. I don't know. Type out what you mean by that.
Yeah.
That could be a couple of different things.
40 or... Holly said, I'm hypo. Maybe that's my problem. Synthroid may not be working.
Oh gosh, yeah. You got to find a doctor who'll let you take Armor or Nature or NP or WP. They work better, especially with Hashimoto's, than Synthroid. Synthroid is fake T4.
Primary biliary
Cholangitis?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, you can definitely. You're going to benefit from keto, and the problem I have with low carb is that there's a lot of products involved. And then also a lot of people on low carb say if it fits your macros, then it's okay to eat. So you could eat 20 grams a day of whole wheat bread as long as you don't go over 20. Don't do that. You definitely need to be eating real, whole food, keto or carnivore. Yeah, definitely.
So I know you guys have seen this freaking bread that's going viral lately. They sell it at Aldi and it has 0 net carbs, right? So everybody's posting these, and like the very first freaking ingredient is wheat.
Yeah.
The second is wheat. The
Yeah.
next is potato starch. Like, no, that's no.
Yeah. So you're eating bread and potatoes? No.
No. You might
That's going to
like-
cause inflammation.
Just eat a potato
Yeah, just eat it.
if you're gonna do that.
Put the potato in the fridge overnight, then it's resistant starch, and then
like-
it has no carbs.
So I just want to.
That's a joke.
Yeah, don't
That's
do that.
not true.
Make sure that you are being aware of the ingredients in these products that people are sharing, because that big 0 net carbs really calls to people.
That's the problem I have with low carb, is that kind of crap can sneak in, and you think, well, it's low carb, it should be fine.
So there's
But for-
9 grams of carbs per slice total.
Yeah.
And they've just shoved a bunch of fiber in there.
And it has wheat.
And
So-
it's made from wheat gluten. Wheat, and potato.
And I'll tell you guys, even if you've had the gluten sensitivity testing done and it came up negative, I think all human beings, without exception, have at least some degree of sensitivity to wheat. I think it's
To modern
yeah.
wheat.
Eating wheat is much better than starving to death. 100% agree with that. But if you can do better than eating any bread, you should not eat any bread whatsoever.
I feel like back in the day when keto was starting, people knew, like, the first rule of keto: no grains,
No grains,
no sugar.
yeah. No sugar, no grains. Yeah. No
And
sugar,
that
no grains. yeah.
literally breaks both of those rules.
Yeah.
So.
So they're hoping that enough people believe, what is it, IIFYM, if it fits your macros.
That's just low carb.
That's just a way for marketers to sell you crap.
And And it's not going to help you in the long
Yeah.
run. I guarantee those of you who've been eating clean, if you ate some of that bread, you would feel achy, you would have issues, you would have gut issues, you would see.
Yeah, Nikki's right. If it's got a label with more than one ingredient, just don't eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the end. And you cannot be fooled by any ad campaign or any marketing. If it's got more than one ingredient on the label, don't eat it. The end. Yeah.
Broccoli.
Ribeye,
Broccoli.
Brussels sprouts,
Brussels sprouts.
um,
Oh my God.
lamb chops.
So we went to a little restaurant right next door to us, and they had roasted cauliflower that was in brown butter with Parmesan on top. Oh, no,
Where did we
so
go?
good. Bar Louie.
Bar Louie, yeah.
So I had a few of you
Yeah.
ask me and say, was that on the menu? It's an appetizer. So if you have a Bar Louie, I just got the burger, no bun, no chips, extra guac, and then I subbed.
What
the
kind of
roasted
burger was
cauliflower.
it?
It's the nacho burger.
Nacho burger, yeah.
But you just tell them you don't want nachos on it. It's just guacamole, pico, and queso. I'm sure the queso is a little dirty. But then the roasted cauliflower I subbed.
She tried to make me take a bite.
Of cauliflower?
Yeah, I was like, woman.
It was just cauliflower. He was acting like I was giving
I
him
did.
cake.
I did. I was like, how dare you?
I said, it's just cauliflower.
Yeah.
I know, and I don't want it.
Yeah,
I
and
was
so
like,
I had a.
Okay.
What was the name of my burger?
Yours was
The
the
all nighter.
hangover.
It was like a hangover
Hangover
burger. It was
burger.
basically a double burger with a fried egg and
Bacon.
bacon. And I got 2 of those with an extra egg on each one with no bun, and that's what I ate. And it was pretty. And I took the cheese off too because there was some kind of provolone. I gave it to Nisha.
Yeah.
And it was
so-
tasty. I enjoyed it.
Man.
Was that no? I ate again after I got home last night. I had some ground beef with
Before you went to bed.
egg
With egg
yolks,
yolks,
yeah.
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 But-
I put it on my Instagram story.
We'll probably eat there a few more times because that's something that I can eat and I don't feel like I'm being
Yeah.
um
Yeah. I mean, it was
limited.
it's probably a little dirty,
Oh,
but
it
that
was
was
for
still
sure dirty.
still a pretty darn good.
Just because I don't know what's in that queso.
Queso.
I don't know what's in that queso.
Yeah.
But the guacamole was probably basic. Pico is just tomatoes and onions, and then cauliflower is cauliflower, and it was real butter. How can heavy whipping cream affect lipolymphedema?
Can it? Yeah, maybe.
Oh, can it?
Yeah, because it still has some of the potentially inflammatory proteins from the milk. And if you guys, and so if anybody listening, if you're kind of new to this and you think heavy whipping cream is 100% fat, it is not. You can put heavy whipping cream in your KitchenAid with the beater and make butter, and there's all this liquid that comes out, and that's whey. And whey is a dairy protein, and for some people they can eat whey, drink whey, it's fine. Other people, it's quite inflammatory, and it can cause inflammation in the lymph vessels, which can slow down lymph flow. Yeah. Cheese is the same way, and so you might want to try a dairy-free month to see if that gets better.
Tammy says, I just had blood work done to follow up on my thyroid panel and asked to test my hormones. He only checked estrogen. Should she have checked other ones too?
Definitely a progesterone and a total testosterone. Women are not just estrogen. A lot of people think that. It's like, oh, you're a woman, I'm just going to check your estradiol. I used to do that back in 2003, 2004. But now that I know better, I would check all of your female hormones, which includes a progesterone and a total testosterone. And women who are going into menopause, the first hormone that leaves them is testosterone. The second is progesterone. Lastly is their estradiol starts to go down. And so you can be in menopause, premenopause, perimenopause for 10 years, suffering, not able to sleep, being irritable, not having any energy, not having any drive. And that's because of the low T. And so without checking that, your doctor's blind to that.
If you see me making faces or like look like someone just kicked me in the guts, it's because someone is kicking me in the guts. Art. Like,
He just
what
wants to
are
play.
you doing in there?
He just wants to play.
I mean, it's like he winds up.
Yeah, good question. Goat cheese for many people is much less inflammatory.
Why?
Because goats, the kind of milk that goats have is known as A2 milk. There are some A2 cows, but most of the cow's milk you buy at the grocery is A1. And that's not a grade, that's a kind. And so you can Google A2 milk and you can learn about that. Or DuckDuckGo it if you're mad at Google.
Which we are apparently.
Yeah. I've been using DuckDuckGo a lot. I'm used to it now. I kind of like it.
I'll have to transition.
If you guys don't know, Google has started throttling, not me, but a lot of the big like Chris Kresser, Dr. William Davis, Dr. Mercola, who I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but he still has some great information. And they've lost 95% of their web search traffic because Google won't show them in the results. And that's kind of crappy. I mean, they're basically censoring
biased
low carb people and people who are trying. And so instead of showing a Chris Kresser article, and if you don't know Chris Kresser, he's got a ton of great information on his website. You get a WebMD article or you get a Mayo Clinic article, and we all know how useful they are. Yeah, so you can actually change your default search engine on your browser. And so now when I just type something up in the little bar, it searches in DuckDuckGo, not in Google.
Somebody wants to know how you're drinking your coffee on your fast.
I'm drinking it usually cold, but I put a drop of the iodine we talk about, but I put a big squirt of Keto Chow or fasting drops. That's what I put in there.
So when you see this foam up here, that's because the coffee maker we have
a
does that. The
Nespresso. It makes all coffee foamy.
But that doesn't mean
there's no dairy in
just
this at all.
coffee.
This is just coffee, and actually I cut it with water. I made a double espresso and I made an Americano out of it. I put a huge splash of this distilled water and then a big squirt of fasting drops that we get from Keto Chow.
Yeah. What about the chaffle craze? I think chaffles are fine. It's real food. It's just eggs and cheese.
Yeah. Nisha ever gets her lazy pregnant butt up off the couch, she's going to do some chaffle recipes.
You know, you might have lose some patrons for that.
Just playing.
Oh my gosh, Miss Kathy. They do. So Miss Kathy says, I hate salt. Do they have a pill?
They do, yeah.
Redmond's has a pill for salt for those of you who aren't going to be able to get your salt in because for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's called...
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I'll put a link to it.
Yeah.
But they definitely do.
But I'll tell you, Kathy, I used to hate salt. Back when I thought that low salt was healthy for a while. Like if something was normally salted, it would taste too salty to me, and I would think that I didn't like it. It took me a few months to get used to eating salty things again, and now I freaking love salt.
Relight, that's what it's called.
Relight,
and it's a capsule. It's not a salt tab like the old timey salt tabs, which were basically just salt pressed into a tablet. So you shouldn't be able to taste it or anything. It should just go down just fine.
Yep.
So yeah.
Until you can reestablish your palate. Because it'll love it again if you keep trying.
Maybe not. Holly says, should I use the electrolytes or fasting drops while I'm fasting? I always use the fasting drops because they're higher sodium.
They have more sodium in them, and you need lots of sodium. I'm working on an Instagram post right now about just how much more sodium and chloride you need than potassium and magnesium.
We have exciting news.
Oh, we do. Do I know about this news?
You get to know ahead of time before anybody else knows. And it's about the lollipops.
Oh,
the
yes,
rock
the
salts. So they're not on an actual lollipop, but they are salt rocks. And they will only be available in the berry bundle from Redmond's, which will go live on Monday. And it comes with 2 salt rocks, a kosher salt, and a 6-pack of the little curry salts, and I think seasoning salt. And I think it's $19.99 is
cool.
what it is.
But they'll have a rock to lick
two rocks.
like you have. Oh, it has 2 rocks?
2 rocks in the
Nice.
bundle. So that's exciting. I'm excited. I hope you guys are interested in getting those, and that'll make a really cool Christmas present, by the way.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Stocking stuffer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then you can keep the rocks for yourself.
So instead of a lump of coal in their stocking, they can get a lump of
you can
salt,
get the lump of salt.
which means you've been a good boy this year.
So we hassled them, and we were like, here's our stipulation. We want the rocks, and we want it to only be available in the berry bundles. And they were like, okay.
Fine.
So they're going down to the mines this week to get rocks specifically for these bundles. so they can ship them out starting Monday.
She's not joking. They really are going to go down there with, I guess, a big basket
Yeah.
and collect a bunch because there's just rocks laying everywhere.
Yeah. So it'll be on their website. There'll be a tab that says the berry bundles, and we'll have direct links for you guys to put in.
I'll post a
and
link in
stuff.
here, and you get a discount if you order with our little thing, I think.
Well, it's a
It's
discount
like a
for our
discounted bundle.
bundles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll post it in here as soon as it
And
goes
then,
live.
so he has the salt bundle. I have a salt bundle, and they both have the rocks, but mine has a little more of like the cooking stuff. And then I have a beauty bundle that comes with Epsom salt and earth paste and a face mask too.
Yeah.
And that's discounted as well. All of our bundles are discounted, as opposed to if you guys like bought it all, it would be more expensive.
Yeah,
So,
and if you buy it on Amazon, it's substantially more expensive
it is.
than buying with this bundle.
I didn't
because
realize.
that was one of the things that was a requirement of mine is that if I'm gonna have my name on a bundle, you're gonna knock some money off for my people.
Yeah. And
Definitely.
they've done this right.
They do us
So
right.
you can order on Monday. I will be posting the links in here for you guys. We'll probably do a little Facebook Live, like, ta-da!
Yeah,
tonight.
we'll let you guys know as soon as the link is live.
Yeah, so exciting. Somebody said it's double cream better than heavy cream.
Yes, double cream you typically can't get in the U.S., but they have it in Europe and in the U.K., and it's like 60% fat, whereas most cream here is 35 to 40% fat. Double cream, and then there's actually such a thing as triple cream. I don't know, I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. And then who's the ice cream company that uses triple cream to make their ice cream?
Mammoth,
Is it Mammoth?
I think.
They have it, but it's called triple cream, and it's like 80%.
Oh, no. It's the yogurt. You're talking about the yogurt. Peak yogurt.
Oh, Peak Yogurt
Yeah.
uses triple cream to make their yogurt. Yeah.
And-
So it's super high in
I
fat.
actually hate yogurt, but I like Peak
Where
yogurt.
did we try that at?
I tried it at Keto.
Oh, I never tried it, but you did. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had it plain, like without anything in it.
Yeah.
And so you could use that as a base for like dips
Hundreds of things.
or
yeah.
whatever. And then they also had what's the brand of syrups that everybody likes? The monk fruit syrups. I can't remember. You guys know?
Alternus? No.
No, syrups, like
I don't
flavor.
know. I don't
Like
know
they
any
have
of those
strawberry and chocolate and all that, and they had put some of that over it for like a kid.
But
That would be an awesome little treat.
delish, Yeah.
So yeah.
And I don't know the price of Peak Yogurt. I suspect it's a little pricey compared to Yoplait.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really want to, if you freaking love yogurt, then that's you want to get the triple cream
Yeah,
yogurt.
Chalk Zero. That's what I was talking
Oh,
about.
Chalk Zero. Okay.
And Lakanto. Are they the same
I
thing?
don't know.
Well, any of those that are sweetened with monk fruit and erythritol, that'd be a great alternative for like a mom who's sending her kid to school with like snacks and stuff. Kim says, I learned I'm hypothyroid after I started keto. And now I take nature. Barely losing since March. I'm exhausted. I use Keto Shop Redmond's daily. Any suggestions?
You may not be taking enough of the nature through it. A lot of doctors, including me, back when I was first learning about how to actually do proper thyroid care, if somebody was on, say, 150 of Synthroid, they should switch over to probably 100 of Nature or Armor, and I would switch them over to 30 or 32.5 because I was nervous because I wasn't sure about the natural stuff. And so it's very common for a doctor who's not 100% confident with the desiccated thyroid hormone replacement to not give you enough. And so don't just double your dose without talking to your doctor, and then also talk to your pharmacist and say, is this the normal dose most people are on when they take Nature or Armor, or does this seem low to you? But if you have Hashimoto's or hypothyroid, you can take more and more of that until you feel normal. Taking too much thyroid hormone, a lot of doctors are afraid that you're going to be like, well, I want more and more because I want to lose weight. But if you take too much thyroid hormone replacement, you'll feel like crap. You'll feel just as bad as you felt with hypothyroid. And so you're not gonna on purpose take too much. And so you play around with the dose you got. Go see your doctor, talk to your pharmacist, but you probably just need more nature.
Will you explain non-HDL cholesterol?
So it gets very, very complicated. Really, all you need to worry about is that your HDL cholesterol is very high, and then don't worry about your LDL. There's all these different ways of calculating ratios and looking at particle size and particle density. The research behind all that is trivial. It's not really a lot of good research. The research that we absolutely know is true is that a very low triglyceride level is very protective against heart attack and stroke, and the higher your HDL is, the more protective it is against heart attack and stroke. Total cholesterol and LDL don't really mean anything, and don't get off in the weeds about the different types of HDL, LDL, total, particle size, particle density. Don't worry about that stuff.
Beck says, I heard eating leafy greens binds excess estrogen if you're estrogen dominant. Have you seen this working? So much positive press for carnivore at the moment.
Yeah, some people like eating lots of greens, but most women, and especially most menopausal women, in our feedback we've gotten, freaking love carnivore, man. They just feel better than they felt in years.
Well, they love how they feel.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you may not love that you're just eating all meat, but the way you feel and the way you sleep and your energy level is so much better that they soon forget about the greens. And I'm not anti-greens. Some people love them and do great on them.
Yeah.
But you might think about trying a month without the greens and just see.
Do some self-experimentation.
Yeah.
Take it upon yourself to just see how your body feels when you're meat heavy as opposed to veg heavy or even carnivore. Hey, Toto.
Toto wanted to say hi.
Oh, Toto's been such a good boy, and Rhett Butler has been a bad boy.
The other night, Rhett Butler jumped up on the coffee table and proceeded to pee on the flower vase on top of the coffee table. Then the next day, he pooped on the bathroom rug.
A lot.
Didn't you, Rhett? It's a lot of poop. And Toto's been a perfect gentleman.
Yes, he's been very good. So we think that he's rebelling because the baby's coming.
Yeah, new apartment and baby on the way.
But he's like up my butt all the time, but then acts like that. So I don't know. He's crazy. Julie said, this is a really good question. Julie says, I have a lot of thyroid symptoms, but never show up on labs. What's up with that? Every doctor asks me if I have thyroid issues because my eyes are so prominent. It's a little embarrassing.
Yeah, you need to get a full thyroid panel checked if you have not already. Very often, you can have either Hashimoto's or even early Graves' disease, and if they only check a TSH, they won't be able to see it. They've got to check all the labs, and I've talked about those in multiple YouTube videos and Facebook videos back over on my Facebook page. You can check them out.
Pam says, I saw my doctor. I have fatty liver, low vitamin D, and I'm a diabetic. He said, do not do keto.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Of all the people who need keto or carnivore, you are one of them people. Yeah, 100% it will reverse your fatty liver. It will reverse your type 2 diabetes. And what was the third thing?
Hypothyroid? Thyroid disorders.
Thyroid, yeah. And it's gonna improve your thyroid condition. You may always need some thyroid replacement hormone, but the fatty liver and the type 2 diabetes are gonna disappear with keto or carnivore.
This is one strong little baby, let me tell you.
Toto, say hi. Say hi.
Jessica said, I got a stupid spiralizer and I cannot figure out how to put it together. I'm throwing it away and going carnivore.
We used to play around with spiralizing
We
zucchini.
found one when we moved and he was like, what is this thing? I was like, spiralizer.
Yeah. We did it with zucchini and what else? Something else we tried to do it with. I forget. But every time they were soggy and
Sweet
mushy and
potatoes
yucky.
like years ago.
Oh,
we were
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
do sweet
You
potatoes.
just eat your meat. Yeah.
So funny. Or just buy them done already.
Yeah.
You can get them in the freezer section now, already done, I think. Hey, look at his paw. He's like, I don't know. You might kill me.
Toto's a rescue dog, so he's always afraid he's going to be killed at any moment. Aren't you?
How many weeks till Baby Bear's here?
How many weeks?
6
6 weeks
ish.
until Baby Barry will be right here spitting up on my shirt.
Oh my God.
Are you ready for this?
No. Yes. I don't know. 34 weeks.
Thanks for bringing that up, by the way. Now she'll be
Come on,
crying
girl.
again
I'm
before
on.
we go
Look,
to bed.
my eyes, you can see I'm fixing to cry. 34 weeks tomorrow. So.
34 weeks. All right.
And all of my IVF friends went early. Like, every single one of them went at 39 or 37, 38. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm not ready.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I think he may be early, too. At our last ultrasound, he was 4 pounds. And that was 2 weeks ahead of...
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ahead. It's not a fat baby. He's just big.
He was his femur was super long.
Yep.
The guy was like, he's going to be like Daddy. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be me and Nisha, and then the midwife will be sticking her head in every so often to make sure everything's going well.
We're going to labor at home for a long time until it's time to go in to the midwife.
Yep. We're going to try to do as much at home as we can, but I already know you're going to freak out at some point. We're going to have to go. It's fine.
Oh, no. So Tracy said she did IVF and hers for 38 and 36 weeks. See, like, everybody in they're like dropping off like flies, dropping their babies. And I'm like, oh, my God.
And we think that the reason that it seems like IVF babies go faster is because dates, you wouldn't believe how common it is to miscalculate dates. Like, it's actually more likely that they miscalculated your dates than they got it right if you're doing it the old-fashioned way.
Right.
And so most women are pregnant for weeks or a month or two and don't even know it. And then when we go back as a doctor, and even with ultrasound, trying to calculate your dates, we get it wrong more than half the time. But with an IVF baby, you know the day that they were conceived, pretty much. And so the date can't be wrong. And it looks like that, 36, 7, 8, 9 weeks is very, very common for women to deliver. And if
we know I am exactly this many. I'm 34 weeks and 6. 33 and 6.
Yeah.
For sure. 100%.
Yep.
There's no doubt. So, I don't know. And they were precipitous. Oh, wow.
Ooh, that'd be nice. We'll just have it here at the apartment and be done with it.
I'd be totally okay with
No,
that.
you wouldn't. You said I can't deliver it.
I'm delivering it. I don't know that doesn't change anything. Somebody said, it was Amanda said, luckily you've caught a few babies.
I've caught a few.
I've caught just as many, if not more, babies than him. I've been in delivery with at least as many as him.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I did all the work. He just caught babies. He didn't even do anything. Doctors. How much weight have you gained? 30 pounds, I think, is what was at my last appointment. Right at 30 pounds.
30 pounds.
So, a little bit. Precipitous birth means it comes really fast.
Yeah.
So you go into labor and the baby's here within just a few hours, which is not the normal.
Yeah. It's okay.
The door. Just
For the average first-time mom, labor is about 18 hours. That's the average.
Yeah.
But some moms go super fast, like 2 to 4 hours, and some moms go 4 days in labor. And you just never know. It's different for every woman.
Yeah,
but I would say precipitous labor is probably under 8 hours for a first-time mom. That'd be considered
We
precipitous.
considered precipitous labor if they came in and delivered within 2 hours, but that was just in the hospital for 2 hours. So they'd probably been in labor for 6 to 8 hours.
But now a second or third-time mom, that's
2 hours.
pretty normal. Yeah, pretty normal. But for a first-time mom, you expect them to labor longer.
Only 3 hours were in labor. Wow. Cindy was 38 hours in labor.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, no.
That's a long labor. Labor is another word for work. And 38-hour shift of working, that's a lot of work.
My girls would say, I'm so tired. And I'd be like, that's why they call it labor, baby, because it's hard work.
I bet they did not find that funny at all.
No, they were like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's another word for work, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a lot of them really thought the epidural was going to take away all that pain.
Oh,
and
74 hours. What?
That's a lot.
You should have got double time for that.
1.5 hours. Wow.
Nice.
You're a champ.
Nice.
6'4", 2 and 2 hours. No pain. Wow.
Yeah.
Jessica only had 8 hours and 3 with her second. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all are some baby making push her out.
I really think
champs.
after Nisha has this baby, she's going to have so many good insights for pregnant women and for laboring women, because first she's a labor and delivery nurse, so she's got that angle under her belt.
Mm-hmm.
But after you have this baby, you're going to be able to talk about stuff with such authority that even an obstetrician will need to shut the hell up when you're talking, because you're going
I've
to
got
have
all angles.
you'll have all angles
the
covered.
angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gained 30 pounds, but
Interesting.
I was underweight technically when I started because I had lost so much because I was carnivore.
I can see.
And so I was down to 115 pounds woo, before I got pregnant. So, Toto, put your legs inside. He lets to stick half his body out of the balcony, and we're on the third floor.
The railing, yeah, he gets his front legs through it too. Makes me nervous.
24 hours,
Nice.
67 hours for
Oh.
twins.
Mm.
Twins, wow. What's an epidural? Right.
Yeah.
Some of you did not get the choice for epidural. All back labor. Oh yeah, I'm praying for no back labor. I'm getting on all fours every night to try to make sure that his face is the way that it needs to be. Because if his head and his face are, if he's sunny side up is what we call it, which is face up, that means this
Okay.
part,
Yeah.
his occipital,
Yeah.
right here, that bone is pushing on your spine basically,
Yeah.
and that will cause you more
Severe back
pain,
labor,
your
yeah.
labor will be longer, it will be harder, it'll suck more, and it'll take you longer to push the baby out. So I'm trying to get that position on lockdown.
I think he'll be just right.
We'll see. He's huge and all that. What's your shirt say?
It says you need to let that shit go, and it's got a picture of Buddha.
Paraphrase.
I think roughly Buddha said something like that, but not in those words.
Mm-mm.
My teenage daughter thought I needed this shirt.
I mean,
so
it's pretty funny.
it's pretty funny.
Excuse me. Yeah, we're gonna put something on the railing if he keeps doing that, so he can't like. I don't think he's gonna jump. He's not stupid.
I
but
feel like he'd
still-
be fine if he fell off. He's tough.
No.
Just kidding about that. Don't cry.
Rude. You so rude. Any other highlights you need to? Any updates about the Audible book? You got any updates on that?
Audible book should be out before the end of September. It should be live, available for purchase, and of course, I'll give you guys a heads up when it goes live. But all indications it's going to be before the end of September, when the Audible gets here. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I love hearing all of your labor stories.
I know, right? So cool. I can't wait till you've got a labor story under your belt, and then you can use your L&D experience and that, and just tell it like it is.
I feel like I have the Jennifer Aniston haircut from Friends. Like,
You kind of
this
do.
is not how
yeah.
it started, but this is how it has ended up in the last few weeks. I don't know what the heck's happening. The next Zoom call will be Thursday
Thursday,
at 7.
7 p.m. ish, and I'll put a link everywhere.
And we'll set an
We're not going to
alarm.
forget this time.
17 alarms.
We suck at that.
Oh, the lab book. How's that coming?
Oh, Kim Howerton is going to be getting the first draft to me before the end of September, and then I'm going to just dive into that with both feet, because I think that's a very important book that needs to be
sure.
out there.
Yeah.
And so she's doing everything she can do, and then I'm going to jump in it and put my doctor on it and correct any errors and add extra stuff that I think people need to know. And then we're going to pitch it to Victory Belt, and if they want to publish it, great. But if they don't want to publish it, we're going to publish it as a self-published book and get it out there, because I was looking. There's not a single book in the universe that says, okay, here's the basic labs you need, and here's what those basic labs mean.
Mm-hmm.
How is there not a book out there that's like that? I mean,
Because
there's,
it's hard to write.
Yeah, it
After
is
he
hard to
got
write,
into the
yeah.
process, he was like, this is why there's not a book.
but I bought 4 or 5 books that sort of do that, but they get way off in the weeds on stupid crap, or they leave very basic things that should be talked about untalked about. It's just like that book doesn't exist.
We're trying to keep it basic, but also very focused.
Yeah.
Like, hit the important stuff, but not get off in the
Right.
weeds too much.
Right, and so here's the labs you need to ask for. Here's the normal range. Here's the optimal range, because nobody talks about that. And then here's what it means if this is a little high or a little low. That's what we're trying to cover. But it gets so complicated. And I bet a lot of authors have started that book and then just gave up. Like, screw it, I can't write this book.
Yeah.
But we're not going to give up. And so hopefully by Christmas maybe that one will be out. But if we
Well-
self-publish, if Victory Belt takes it, it'll be sometime next year. Because
Well,
it takes
I don't
them
know.
longer.
We'll
But a
see.
self-published book, we can get up and running as an ebook. We can get that up quick.
So what's different with my hair is I got a blowout and I had a deep conditioning treatment put on it because it was pretty dry. And so that's why it looks so nice and bouncy. So if you haven't ever got a blowout,
I think they were asking about my hair.
is your name Nisha?
Oh, did they say Nisha?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Somebody asked, are you going to go live when you were in labor in the patron? You
We
know,
might.
maybe.
We might. It depends on how she feels. I'm not going to make
Maybe.
her.
Like in early labor, we're definitely going to video it.
Yeah.
We're going to video it
Yeah.
and document and
Yeah.
all that good stuff. But whether, depending on if I'm in labor at 1 a.m.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
I mean, you guys
Yeah.
might be awake.
Yeah, but you can watch the next day. But yeah, definitely if she feels like it, we'll do some.
Oh!
We'll do some more. Yep, we will.
Oh, God. Whoa.
I'll be putting your makeup on so we can go live.
Yeah, I'll be doing my makeup. Probably.
I would
Okay.
use that really expensive makeup, Sharpay. You only have to do it like once every 2 weeks if you use Sharpay.
No, stop that. Dr. Barry, your hair looks fantastic.
Thank you so much for that.
Y'all are so nice to him.
Oh, are we done?
I reckon we
All
gotta
right.
go live in the fasting group now. So if
Oh,
you
yeah.
are in that, or you want to be in that, head on over there.
Yeah, jump over. It's Real Salt Fasting. I think if you search that on Facebook, you'll find it.
Not on YouTube.
Not on YouTube.
Facebook.
And share my YouTube video about how to predict diabetes 10 years before it happens with your young, healthy relative who's going to be diabetic if they don't stop it. Yeah. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks for being part of our keto family. Love you.